Hello again, 164 scale collectors. So in this box we might have a 164 representation of the greatest street legal car, in my opinion, ever. So what we have is a crushed box, unfortunately. This came from AliExpress. I forget what the seller was, so it's crushed. It's really difficult to get out. Yeah, that's not great. Definitely wouldn't be good to give away as a gift, which I don't plan to do anyways, but still, it's not nice, you know? Okay, so U2. Oh, I forgot to sing a U2 song. Let's just pretend I sang and destroyed a U2 song. Maybe I'll do it at the end. Alright, so, really tight box, being all messed up like that. This is a card saying thanks for buying our stuff. It's not licensed. Here's a little cloth to wipe off any finger smudges. There's extra foam in here. I don't know if that comes standard or if the seller added that. Not sure. Here's an article by a website called MotorAuthority.com. So the Mclaren F1 LM, LM meaning Le Mans, of the 106 McLaren F1s made, 5 of them were upgraded to Le Mans specs, meaning they pretty much made the street legal version of the cars that won. Well, the car in the 4 other entries in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And that win wasn't a fluke, because in that race, the car came in 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 13th. I don't know what car came in 2nd, but there was a really well designed and well performing car to carry so many positions. It's just a challenge to finish that race, by the way. So reading this article here, yeah, 5 customer cars, but this one is unique because they kept the road interior. So it has all the wings and the additional power of the LM car. Apparently in 2015 it sold for $14 million. It actually doesn't go as fast as the road car because all those add-ons produce drag but create create downforce. So here you can see it has 680 horsepower versus the standard 600, low 600 range. Alright, so yeah, there you go with the text there. And here's some images from that website and elsewhere. So it's like a really, I guess, like a metallic reddish orange, I suppose. And it's got wheels that are apparently unique looking. I've never seen a McLaren F1 with these multi-spokes before on a road car. The long tails, I think, had them, but not the regular short version. Hold on, let me get focus. Okay. I really just got the model because I've never seen a McLaren with these wheels and this color. But it's nice to learn that this colorway is actually based off of a real car. So I think this is chassis number 73 that has this specification and colorway. Okay, pretty common to U2 now. It seems like they have this printed graphic on the base of it. It's I don't think it's a sticker. I think it's literally printed onto the plastic, so I don't think it's going to peel off like a paper sticker would. And you can actually see the texture, and then the screws are stainless, so they won't rust. And then the nameplate here tells you what it is, and it's number 52 of 299. And then there's a tiny antenna, so I really recommend that you don't open these boxes if you collect these things, because the slightest glance will just break that antenna, and then you'll have a hard time replacing it. Alright, let's start with this wheel, this multi-spoke here. So, pretty thin spokes. There's a little black on one of them though, and they're like the 10 o'clock position. I don't know if that's just extra paint or some glue, I'm not sure. What's kind of weird is how close the brake rotor is to the spokes. They're literally touching. There should be a gap there. That's really odd to see. The cross drilling also is not very sharp, so it looks like this brake rotor could be molded plastic. If it was photo etched, those holes would be a lot smaller. or it's been painted too much silver. I'm not sure. But the caliper itself is well done because it's three-dimensional. It's not just a flat piece of like photo etched metal. There's no printing on it though. The center knockoff here does seem to have some sort of black and silver, I would assume Mclaren badge. What's not good is the tire treads. They do look like a truck tire. You shouldn't see knobbies. And also the tire is significantly larger than the wheel, it looks like. It shouldn't have these air gaps. It's possible that there's too much clamping force by this screw, so I'm going to just unscrew it a little bit. No, I don't think that made any difference. Okay, so it's not that. Yeah, I hate seeing knobbies on a hypercar. Very strange. So, boy, is that even laid flat? I'm afraid to touch that thing, that orange marker. I almost feel like it's not laying flat on the body. I feel like it's, see, I feel like it might be sticking out or something. Anyways, I am not going to touch that. Unless that's like an orange ball, like a bead or something. I don't know. But anyways, you can see the light bouncing around in it. So that's kind of nice. It's not just like a flat surface. Then you can see this metallic paint, or what I think is going on is maybe this model was painted silver first, and there's a translucent orange-red on top of it. Yeah, if I look at it, you know, I feel like I can see depth in the clear coat, but that depth contains color. I might be mistaken. You guys might see more than I can because I'm looking through a phone screen here. That venting and the door, it does go back in there. Man, I gotta really pay attention to that antenna. I'm gonna get a flashlight here. Well, no, there's no black paint back there, but it looks like it goes in a decent amount, so I guess that's fine. The mirror has a mirror sticker. You can literally see it reflecting the part of the window and part of the door right there. So the side windows, they're that super thin packaging, so you can see crystal clear right through to the other side, right? You can't do that with molded windows. And then on the outside of those things, you have a photo etched piece of metal painted black, and it's got like that. No, wait, that might actually just be a print. I thought I saw dimensionality. No, this is printed on the outside surface. This lighter gray, but I think on maybe the inside surface they printed the black out of the window. So that's interesting. I kind of feel like it would have been cooler if it was a separate piece, because other resin models do have that. Okay, we seem to have a photo etch lock there with a slot in it, and maybe this is a jack-up point or something, and it's possible there's a piece of metal there. It's hard to... well, let's get the flashlight again. No, maybe not. Maybe that's just part of the graphic of this black line going across the bottom. And now we're seeing the base here. That's pretty rough. That's very rough for a resin model. That's not good at all. I kind of feel like this is possibly a CNC machined base. So I think this is one piece of acrylic that's this thick, and then they CNC'd away this ledge. But unfortunately, the milling bit was going too slow or too fast, and it caused a lot of chatter, which basically causes all this rough surfacing. And or they didn't bother polishing it after the fact. So that's just a suspicion, but it's not very attractive compared to other acrylic bases that have polished edges. That rear tire is just disturbing. You know, the sidewall is nice and bulged like the front, but those side blocks, this is a rally. It looks like a rally car. It's very odd. Oh well. Looking at the rear brake though, we can see there's a second caliper. Maybe that's an emergency brake. Okay, well I guess we'll go around to the back here since we're already there. The taillights are interesting. They have the ridging, vertical ridging. I kind of feel like a texture there. So I think those could be on the outside surface, but at the same time you can also see, you know, the the light bouncing around in there. So I don't know if there's like a piece of shiny metal back behind this piece of plastic, and they molded the ridges into the plastic to create this effect. But let me just move the model around. You can just see the light moving. So it's interesting. I don't know if it's realistic though. I mean, it's not actually. If I look at the rear photograph, you don't see any sort of crazy ridges like this. It just looks like it's orange and red. So it's kind of weird actually, if you're going for realism. It's funky to look at, but it doesn't look like the photos. So that's unfortunate. Wow, that's a really smooth clear coat. This checkerboard you see is this checkerboard on the base. So that's really smooth. Like you can literally see like checkerboard there. So nice. Okay, well, photo etch grill back here, and then the slots are open to allow these exhausts to come out. I would have to assume this must be a plastic exhaust because the two circles are blended together. I don't think they're gonna solder tubes together to make these. So, but anyways, there's some depth in the middle, and it's dark in there, and then the edges are all chromed out. So I don't know if the real car has chromed exhaust tips though. It looks like they're just stainless steel or something, but that's a pretty dark rear photo I pulled up, so I'm not sure. But I don't know. I kind of feel like in the 1990s, people weren't chroming their exhausts on hypercars or race cars. They don't have chromed exhausts, I don't think. Okay, what's nice is they got the tiny reflectors and lights in these slots, so that's good. I don't know what's going on with the black here though. It's something weird. These are all nice. I don't know if these are inserts, this black. This is clearly like a resin. It's got some like light bouncing around in them again. But maybe the black is just the same piece and they painted the black on it. But there's something definitely wrong with that one, whereas the other three look nice. These are recesses with black paint in them for sure, and there's a little bit of black overrun. So we have the F1 badge there, some sort of foil sticker it seems. It looks like we have the lights for the license plate there. These little black things. Are they sticking up? I think they're literally sticking up. That's quite a small detail. There's no license plate itself, which is fine because there's a big grill. And I think there's air passing maybe? Let's see. Yeah, you can see how there's a little bit of orange on the top edge. So that's the body itself is resting on, but then in the middle is this darkness, or possibly this silver there. I think that's actually looking at the engine. But the holes unfortunately are so tightly spaced you really can't see the engine. You see something back there, but not really much in detail. The struts themselves, they're kind of thin, although this one's obviously off crooked. There's actually like an inner brace. I don't know if the real car has that. Oh, I think it does if you look at the rear photo. You should rewind a little bit. So that's interesting. I don't know if this real car, this wing pops up or not anymore because it's got that there. Okay. The carbon wraps around the whole bottom, it looks like. Okay, and the top as well. It's got some details up there. Possibly a decal. No major air pockets. Possibly right there. I'm not going to poke at it. And then the F1 is on the side there and the side there. Okay. This side we have the center knockoff. That looks alright except for the weird knobby tires. Let's see about this marker on this side. I guess it's laying against the body. I think it might be in a recess. Like a little bit of a dimple. I'm not going to touch it. I don't want it to fall off. Okay, the front, yeah, again, only the tires are a letdown, it seems. A little extra glue. Black stripe on the bottom seems okay. I don't know if that's part of the base or if it's paint, but door lock up here is alright. The fuel filler there is a photo etch piece with some details etched away. Wrapping to the front, we have the chin spoiler. It has a carbon pattern on it, probably a decal. Then with these grills, you have a tiny metal bisector there horizontally. I don't want to touch that for sure. It looks super thin and fragile. Looks like there's probably a grill behind that as well. Yeah, okay. And then there's a tiny metal grill here in the middle as well. And then I think that's just black paint for these vertical vents there. And then we have the marker lights there, the turn signal maybe, or is it a reflector? You know, I kind of feel like those don't have a clear coat. Possibly they do. I mean, they are shiny. Yeah, I guess. Maybe it's just like a piece of stainless painted with some translucent orange paint or something like that. McLaren badge seems well centered. Possibly, again, it's in a dimple. That's why it's centered that way. Sadly, there's no black here. It would have been easy to just add a paint swab there. Or another brand might put a piece of metal there. The light covers are nicely done. The blackouts on the inside surface, it seems. And the lights, they look like they're photo etched. Very shiny on the outside and etched away in the middle. What I can't tell is if they're domed, like with some clear resin. I think they're just flat. Yeah, so that's... I don't know if the real car has flat LEDs or something. Or if they're, you know, domed projectors. You know, I might be mistaken. It is possible there might be a shallow dome of clear resin on there. It's just not obvious. Okay. But from the front, you know, it looks like two circles. Yeah, that's a bit distracting. I feel like there should be black there. Going to the top, we got the louvers here. I don't think there's black paint. No black paint on the back side. That's a pretty nice etched away wiper blade with two arms. But is the blade perpendicular? I don't think it's bent perpendicular. It's so thin. But other brands will bend that blade perpendicular against the windscreen. So these guys didn't do it. Okay, I think there's only that one wiper blade. And I don't know what's going on here. Is the end of it bent? I feel like it is. I feel like this is part of the wiper blade, but is bent. I don't want to mess with it. Yeah, so that wiper blade I think is messed up. It is. Yeah, see up here you got these two cutouts, and that's what that cutout and that cutout is. So the thing is bent. So not the best assembly of model there. A little black paint here for the door hinges. And then up top, well, I think there actually is a piece of metal in here. So that's nice. They got the something up in the top vent. Just would have been cool if they had one there. Maybe they have it on other models and I just got a dud. That tiny antenna, yeah, I think that's a piece of metal, like, because it's shiny. I kind of feel like it should probably be painted black though. Okay, the slots here, they are black paint. Not enough black paint there, unfortunately, but they are recessed a decent amount. And then the rear vent as well, again, no black paint. So, that's too bad. This is photo etched, these are photo etched. So, I don't know why they missed the black paint on this vent and that vent, but they're able to get the black paint into those 6 small vents. So, they got a little lazy. Not so good. Not a perfect model, design-wise, or execution-wise, sadly. Alright, well, I guess we'll look at the engine here, if we can. Well, there's a tube, a silver tube. The header looks like it's just black. It might be too bright though. That was 1 lumen though. Oh, well, maybe those are ignition coils right there. Not sure. There's definitely a tube there. It looks like it's gold or probably like supposed to be titanium gold or something for the exhaust header. Yeah, I think there's a decal there. You can see the wrinkly shininess of that black there. And then side towards the middle, that's probably the induction box and the stacks below it. I'm not sure if that's the best engine I've seen in the McLaren model. There's a bunch of silver on this side, so at least the engine's not symmetric. There's a different panel here than on the other side, so I'm sure that's probably realistic. And it does seem to have the interior windows to separate the engine from the interior. See how they're angled down and they have blackout printing on them? So that's cool. And so getting into the interior and hopefully avoiding that antenna, we got tan. What's going on here? It looks like this small DeLorean window is tinted, right? Yeah. Was that on the other side? I think it is. For some reason, they tinted the little window that rolls down, but not the top half. That's kind of weird. I don't know if the real car does that. Like, why would it do that? Why wouldn't the whole window be tinted? Very strange. Okay. Well, let's see. Okay, so I see some buttons down there. I can also see the passenger seat has some ribbing. That's the shifter right there with the knob on top. Okay, the steering wheel, we have the stalks for the turn signals and wiper blades. I guess this car doesn't have paddle shifters. It's the early 90s, so. But it is a race steering wheel. There's no airbag. Again, this is an LM spec. I'm not even sure if the road car had an airbag. The regular ones, that is. That rear view mirror is three-dimensional. It's not just like a bent piece of metal, so that's pretty nice. The roof actually has tan color, so that's good. It's not orange like many. And the door panel are two-tone. The door panels, yeah, tan, black, tan, so that's good. There's even a recess under the passenger seats. Maybe there's a cubby there on the real one. This driver's seat has two very thin seat belts, or actually it's a 4-point harness. But I don't think there's metal buckles. I think that might all be the same piece of material just cut out. It's better than no seat belt, so that's good. I do think that's, yeah, there's a little red for the buckle for the passenger seat there. But the passengers don't have any belts. Okay. So you can see right through the back with those clear windows. I was looking through 3 panes of windows there. Alrighty, let's see. What else? The steering wheel, I don't think there's a decal on it. No, that's an oversight. Unless maybe the real one doesn't have an obvious logo. But in the instrument binnacle, you can definitely see the gauges, round gauges. That's cool. 3 of those, and some switches right there. Let's see. The rear windows are so narrow. You can see some gauges through there. Something black there. I'm not sure what that is on the dashboard there. Trying to see if there's gas pedals, but I don't know if it's possible because the seat is in the central location and these windows are so narrow, left to right, that is. Go up to 15, but you can start seeing all the dust. It's crazy. What's up with all this dust? You know what? I think that's a foot pedal right there. You can see some little drilling of that gas pedal maybe. So that's a nice little detail. I can't see a brake pedal though. Alright, well that's a minor quibble. Just taking this in here because it's my favorite car, the Mclaren F1s. Okay. So this is a low resolution image, but it is possible that that little DeLorean window is darker than that window. Possible. So maybe this is the image these people saw and decided that that's tinted and the rest is not. Yeah, I think it actually might be tinted. It's just weird. I'm not sure why someone would do that. And not tint the whole thing. Maybe it's for legal reasons, wherever this car is located. Anyways, here's the McLaren XP5, the prototype, and I think this is by LCD model. Yeah, I actually kept a cute quality thing here. So this is actually a die cast, and has very vibrant taillights, maybe too vibrant, but it's a really great model. LCD generally, everything except for that Utopia is good by the brand, I think. So then here we have the resin version of the normal street cars. So this is, I believe, by MY64. It's unlicensed, so I don't know. They didn't bother putting the brand on there. But yeah, clearly it doesn't have the racing stuff. The louvers over the front wheels, the chin spoiler, the giant wing in the back, that kind of thing. So, and then obviously has different wheels. I'm gonna have to lose the die cast. So then here we have the one that won the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and is by Scale Mini. There are 400 of these made, but Scale Mini really dropped the ball on this, because the wheels of this model don't look anything like the wheels of the race car. So I actually went and bought a Mini GT model, and these wheels are from the Mini GT. So it's sad that a $10 Mini GT model is better than the Scale Mini resin wheels. Also, for a resin model, it should have an antenna sticking out the top of the thing. This one does. Yeah, so yeah, those are the two major errors by Scale Mini. But to their credit, they do have the night lights running there, which are really cool. The wiper blade is bent perpendicular to the windscreen. Yeah, the carbon details in the rear windows, and the engine, I can already tell, is superior. This is going to be a hard thing for you to check out while it's spinning, so maybe I'll actually stop it. Boy, the LED up here is so bright, but I don't know if we can compare those engines. There's a lot of blue craziness going on in this engine. Theoretically, I think this engine should be the same as in the LM, but it would be different from the one in the road car. This one also, by MY64, has that blue hose, and also something like titanium headers back there. Actually, I think this is a better engine already. Look at the hoses. I think it literally has floating ignition wires. Oh man, sorry for the reflections. Hold on. It's too far away from me. I can't even tell what I'm looking at. Yeah, so I'm not sure if you can see. This thing has floating ignition wires right there. So that is, but that thing's floating too. It's just that it's silver. I see I see three on this one. Yeah, this is superior as far as the engine goes. It's simply better. There's more parts, more details. Also, this grating, this vent right here, you can actually see the exhaust through it. See that titanium right there on the right side? Well, this one is a solid. It's a solid vent. You can't see any of the pipes through it. So MY64s did a better job with the details there. But what about Scale Mini? Now you can't see through this back grate either. But I feel like this engine is still better by Scale Mini. So yeah, comparing the three brands, you know, now's a really great time to be collecting 164 stuff. It's probably the best year you can be collecting right now, as long as you're willing to spend the money. I mean, these details are insane if you think about it. And there's literally 3 different brands putting on a McLaren F1. Granted, they're all not technically the same car, but they all look pretty good. So yeah. Well, I guess you've seen those, so let's just let this spin. There's reviews of all the things know, I just showed. Just look them up in my channel. So for this one, you two, I'm kind of let down because a lot of your other cars, like the Ferraris, they seem to not have some weird design decisions like this one. I'm gonna assume the brake rotors are so close to the spokes so you can see them easily with the naked eye. I guess from the naked eye perspective, I'm zoomed out now, just 1-to-1 ratio of zoom. I mean, I can see them with my own eyes, but maybe they just look a little weird under magnification. But I'm gonna assume most people aren't gonna magnify the models they're looking at, so that's easily overlooked. But the flat windshield wiper blade, that's not as good as the other models. And then the taillights, even though they're funky cool, they're just not realistic looking compared to the photographs. So yeah, if you're a stickler for the details, those are the things I've noticed that kind of detract them from the real photographs. But it's still a pretty neat model, and there are other colorways out there of this particular casting. So hopefully you can still hop on eBay, Amazon, AliExpress, or wherever and grab one of these things. Alright, well, thank you for watching, everyone, and we'll see you in the next resin video.